So many fun kart racers exist out there, and with the release of Mario Kart World, we've been continuing to eat well. Mario Kart World has done so much positive progression for the series that felt sort of lost in a cycle of more of the same for a long time. I've really enjoyed my time with it so far, and I believe I still will for a good long while. But playing this kart racer, I found myself making lots of comparisons to Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing vibes right now. Diddy Kong Racing vibes.
The fact there's a decent-sized world to explore, similar vehicle ideas, and of course, colorful tracks with big frickin' dinosaurs on them, it made me really think about going back to Diddy Kong Racing. So I did. And when I did, well, gosh darn it, not only does it hold up, it still shines, and I enjoyed my time with Diddy Kong Racing even more than I did with Mario Kart World. Why? Well, let me tell you. This is why Diddy Kong Racing is the king of karts. I thought I'd start with a brief background of the development for Diddy Kong Racing, just because I want to and it's interesting. Plus, I think some of its development cycle actually explains why it's so unique among kart racers. According to Lee Schoonman, the director of Diddy Kong Racing, it actually began development as a caveman time travel strategy game. Naturally, this shifted into a racing game, and wanting to make it colorful and fun, they took a cartoonish approach, actually dubbing it Wild Cartoon Kingdom, and then later, Adventure Racers. The characters were planned to be able to get out of their vehicle and wander around in a theme park hub world, much like the concept we can see for the scrapped Donkey Kong Racing game, or the early prototype of Diddy Kong Racing Adventure. Around this same time, work was being done by Kevin Bayliss, who became the art director of Diddy Kong Racing and was really pushing for an adventure game focusing on a character he designed, Timber the Tiger. Some prototype stuff was being made, and then ultimately these projects were sort of merged together, and Timber the Tiger became the main protagonist of the game, and it was renamed again, this time to Pro-Am 64, suggesting it would be a sequel to Rare's previous RC Pro-Am titles. Now fast forward to E3 and Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto, and those who've seen my Dinosaur Planet video or know the history, evidently the man had this trend of going to Rare devs and telling them to rebrand things. And although the Dinosaur Planet change may not have been for the best, necessarily converting it to Star Fox, I think rebranding this and using Diddy Kong was a good move. And so that is the trail that led us to 1997's release of Diddy Kong Racing. That's a very brief overview of the development, but we'll talk more about the characters and their backgrounds and lore in a bit. But the main takeaway from this development cycle and why I wanted to talk about it is how there was an emphasis on adventure platform elements. This game became a racer from a strategy game and took a main character from another game that was planning to be an adventure platformer. Having this unique perspective added so much to the game. The adventure mode with an extensive hub world, an interwoven narrative, bosses, collectibles, they're all elements not typically seen in kart racers, at least not to the extent that they are in Diddy Kong Racing. Usually all you see is Race This Grand Prix and maybe a few unlockable characters. But all of these ideas meshed together in its development cycle created this amalgamation that radiates awesome. And now that we know about these elements, let's dive into them. The story and world building. The fact a racing game even has a story, and on top of that, lore, is actually incredible. Rare has always had a mindset to world build, and it's one of the things that really set them apart in their games, at least in my opinion. People love world building and establishing connections to other characters. And if you've watched my Mapping the Rare Universe video, Diddy Kong Racing is essentially at the center of Rare's world building. Through Diddy Kong Racing, we get the worlds of Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, and Conker directly connected to one another. In the manual, it actually elaborates further on each character, saying Diddy recruited them on his way to Timber's Island. And small details like Conker being PG and Banjo not having Kazooie yet assist in the timeline side of things. We know this game takes place before the events of their own respective games. And in addition to these, we also get hints at Dinosaur Planet, aka Star Fox connectivity, with Tricky the Triceratops and space travel confirmed. And then, within the universes of each character's games, we get references to others, some characters like Tip Tup even showing up directly in other games, and Crunch being a Kremling. It's just incredible. And if you want to see a ton of them connected and how I believe the world is mapped out, go check out my Mapping the Rare Universe video. I think I'm going to make a new one in the near future and make even more connections. The plot of the game itself is Timber recruiting Diddy to help free the island from the evil Wizpig who came in and took over. It even gets weirder with the guardians of the island being under mind control, so we naturally have to stop each guardian and then confront Wizpig. The fact a racing game even has a narrative is a step above so many other kart racers at the time and even now. In addition to all of this, the original characters exclusive to the game all have mysterious vibes about them. Pipsy originally started as a character for a scrapped rear game called Astro Mouse, originally in a spacesuit, and she was male. She was reworked into the Pipsy we know and love to be cohesive into the kart racing universe by Kev Bayless. Bumper has been referenced to being in jail by Conker himself after the events of Diddy Kong Racing. A promotional email by Rare in 2004 to promote the release of Conker Live and Reloaded implied one of the racers of Diddy Kong Racing had been in jail. And an instance on the Rare website in 2012 confirmed that the one that was in prison is Bumper the Badger. Drumstick has his own plotline in the game of being the best racer on the island, but ultimately being turned into a frog by Wizpig after he lost. We end up freeing him by running over a frog with a funny hairstyle in the hub world. TT the Timer, who's a sentient clock creature, this guy is super weird, and honestly, a lot about him is very mysterious. And of course, Taj, the genie of the land. It's really cool that in the DS remake, although I much prefer the 64 one, they added an intro cutscene that helps explain the plot. Previously, it was all in the manual and implied. I'll let you watch it right now. Feel free to skip ahead if you'd like, but it's pretty epic if you've never seen it before.
Sadly, in this version, though, they replaced Banjo and Conker with Tiny and Dixie.
That's pretty much it for the plot and characters, but now let's move into the actual mechanics of the game. The gameplay. The gameplay of the actual races is not your standard kart racing either. You do indeed have the basic functions of a racer you'd expect: acceleration, braking, drifting, but there are 3 distinct choices made that make the gameplay very fast-paced and offer some strategic choices. One is the quick turning function. If you start drifting, you can tap the B button and your kart essentially comes to a stop and will quickly shift direction depending on the orientation of the stick. This quick turn function offers very fast maneuvers that at certain points, if pulled off correctly, can offer a huge advantage around turns. It's never fully necessary, but it's so helpful if you can master it. Another function is the boost mechanic on the zipper boosts. If you ride over a zipper, you get a small boost, but if you time the release of A button, you get a super boost indicated by the green flames coming off your kart. Wait for the flames to dip into a small rainbowish looking effect and hold A again to keep going fast. This small mechanic offers a reward for players who are skilled enough to not only hit the zippers, but nail the timing. And finally, the third mechanic is actually the items. Most kart games follow the Mario Kart formula to get an item box and receive an item. Diddy Kong Racing actually has specific item balloons of a few different types, rather than giving you a random item. And each balloon can be stocked up to 3 times, so rather than using your boost from a blue balloon, you can save it, collect 2 more balloons, and get a super boost plus ultra. With the various item types and several variants, this offers another test of skill and an element of strategy to your races. Will I use the shield? Will I save up some homing missiles? Or will I boost my way to the finish? The 3 of these elements combined truly rewards you for being skillful and knowing the tracks, and don't bombard you with the enraging Mario Kart scenario where you're at the end and get pelted with red and blue shells over and over. All of these mechanics were truly good game design, and I would love to see other kart racers take note, especially of the item system. And now I know what you're thinking, Jaggy, you've made no mention of the different vehicle types, and that's because I'm going to do it right now as we talk about the level design. There are 5 total world themes in the hub island. Each can be accessed through a big doorway. Each area culminates in a boss race, which is a unique thing for a racer. A giant silly character will be waiting to challenge you. These boss fights offer not only a test of skill, but they continue to keep you engaged in the story rather than just doing races over and over and over, and it helps to break up the action. Along with some minigames that do sort of vary in quality, but it's a nice change of pace. But diving into the areas of the game, first we have the dinosaur theme levels. Here we weave through giant dinosaurs walking across the course and fly through a large volcano. The boss race in this is Tricky the Triceratops, and we have to beat him to the tippy top of this mountain. The second area is an iceland filled with large snowballs rolling down the pathway, and a giant, nice, cozy village getting ready for Christmas. This area's boss is Bluey the Walrus. It's actually my favorite boss in the game. We race downhill on a hovercraft as fast as possible. The third area is a tropical island theme. We'll be coasting over pirate ships making a splash in the lagoon. The boss of this area is Bubbler, a giant octopus. This is my least favorite boss of the game. All we do is race around the island and try to avoid his bubble traps. The fourth area is villages and wooded areas. We explore the structures made by the inhabitants of Timbers Island and even see some spooky ghosties. The boss of this area is Smokey the Dragon. We have to fly past him and avoid his fireballs. The final area of the game is in outer space. We zip through spaceports avoiding starship lasers and meteors. This is the second time we will face Wizpig. This time, he's on his rocket. Previously, we have a one-off race with him. All of the levels in this game are unique. You'd be hard-pressed to find a track that really reminds you of the last one, even when they're in the same themed world. Now, racetracks are something a lot of other kart racers do tend to get right, but what makes Diddy Kong Racing so special? The fact that there's vehicle variation. Yeah, that's right. Now we're talking about it. While a lot of kart racers offer vehicle transformations at this point in the game, Diddy Kong Racing pioneered vehicle selection. You can choose between a car, hovercraft, or airplane, and each one gives you a slightly different take on the track. It's all the same tracks, but you'll find yourself going through alternative pathways and things you may have noticed on your adventure playthrough, but weren't quite sure how to access. As you go back and select a track to race on, you'll have an option to switch between the car, hovercraft, or plane. This offers a fresh take for multiplayer, and even replaying those tracks for time trial purposes. The replayability factor is much larger due to this variation, and even mechanically each vehicle plays slightly different. The hovercraft thrives in water, but it's a bit slippy slidey on land. The car is reliable and steady, but it can't drive in water for anything. The airplane allows you to bypass many obstacles and really focus on finding those shortcuts, and sometimes even explore. On top of this, each level also has a silver coin challenge variant that you need to explore the level and find coins and still win the race. This will test your skills and simultaneously cause you to appreciate the level design and layout. You may even find another secret or two, like the keys to unlock the minigame levels. And now finally, let's talk about that music. Music is an important tool for capturing the feel of your environment. And I don't know what wizardry they were teaching over at Rare for their musicians, but David Wise certainly was pumping out the bangers. Each track feels tailored to its environment and it's catchy to boot. This is especially impressive because music is something a lot of N64 games sort of fell short on. I mean, not the Rare ones, but other titles, especially ones that were on other consoles, had to shorten or flat out remove tracks for the N64 version. Toy Story 2 being a great example of this, the tracks were shortened quite a bit. But in Diddy Kong Racing, they feel just right for the length of the race. And like I've said in the past, those winter tracks could make even the Queen of Christmas Mariah Carey herself jealous. That's how good they are. This is one of those soundtracks that I will put in my car when I feel the need for speed. It's just perfect and stands the test of time to this day. I love it. I would love to know what some of your favorite tracks are from this game. Personally, I think the main theme, Ancient Lake, and Walrus Cove are some of my favorites. Here's just a sample of those. All of the elements that were thrown together from various projects like characters, level ideas, gameplay, and a rebrand helped create the perfect storm of Diddy Kong Racing. I'm very much still hoping for this on Nintendo Switch Online, and I'm sure we'll get there eventually. That's how you can date this video if it's on Nintendo Switch Online. But I really truly want to re-experience this game, especially with an online function. Because even now, with all the library of kart racers and games we have, Diddy Kong Racing always holds a special place in my heart. But even looking past that nostalgia, the game's mechanics and adventure mode hold up to this day. I hope one day it's surpassed, but for now, that's why Diddy Kong Racing is the king of the kart racers. Well, that's all I have for you. I hope you'll drop a like in this video to help spread my content, and totally go check out some of my other videos, like Mapping the Rare Universe, or my video on Dinosaur Planet. Oh, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future upload. Until next time, have a good one. Jiggy, look back!